are listening to the Latter-day Ladypreneur podcast. I'm Sarah Grace Allred, your host. Welcome to a sweet mix of interviews with business gurus, as well as solo episodes with me about the lessons, strategies, and inspiration that brought me from bumbling around in business to playing big in the fantastic arena of entrepreneurship. Look, the real magic comes when you and I get to talk business alongside the brilliant words of Esther, Nephi, and even Sherry Dew as we explore who we can become while we engage in this exciting journey as a woman of faith and an entrepreneur. Let's get started. Hey, you, welcome back to the Latter-day Ladypreneur podcast. This is Sarah Grace Allred from Sarah Grace Live. And today I have got chills up my spine because today is a game changer. It is a game changer for you. And I am so glad that you are here. We are making a really important pivot today. Really, really important. And I am not going to waste your time at all. We've got to dive straight into it because it is an absolute game changer for you. And it just may change your entire year. And I could be so bold as to say it may change your entire life, but it is going to change your journey today. It really, really is that pivotal. So let's dive right in. You may have heard me talk a lot in the past about something called the hero's journey. Okay, the hero's journey, if you don't know what that is, let me give you a little synopsis. The hero's journey is a pattern or levels or stages that a hero goes through as he accomplishes an incredible feat or an incredible journey. You see this, it's super cool. You see it in The Lord of the Rings. You see it in Harry Potter. You see it in Star Wars. I mean, it is the foundational framework for how writers begin to write incredibly moving stories. It is all over Pixar. It is all over Disney. And this is the hero's journey. Now, some commonalities with the hero's journey is that there is always a hero. So in Lord of the Rings, Frodo is the hero. In Harry Potter, Harry is the hero. In Star Wars, Luke Skywalker is the hero. There is always a hero. There is also always a task at hand. Okay. So we're trying to get to Mordor. And if we are Luke Skywalker, we are trying to kill the Death Star, and then we are facing Vader and like all these different things. There's always some sort of an end goal, and Harry's goal is to defeat Voldemort, right? So this is this really common, incredible foundation of incredible stories in literature, in art, in film. It is so pivotal. And I have spoken for years on what this means as entrepreneurs and how our journey as entrepreneurs in the business world mirror that of the hero's journey. And it has led me with so much inspiration and just changed so many things for me as I was able to relate to that. And then everything changed. Okay. And some of you may have heard the hero's journey, and there were certain elements of it that didn't resonate with you. And now I know why. I discovered something recently, and that is what I am here on the podcast to do, is to bring that to light for you. So if you have struggled with portions of the hero's journey, or you feel like you could just never see yourself specifically in it, this is why. It is actually because there is a different journey called the heroine's journey. Goosebumps? Okay, they happen to me. There is quite literally a different journey for women. So if you have heard me speak about the hero's journey, which I have done hundreds of times over the past couple of years, you may have gotten stuck somewhere, and it is because you are a woman. That is why. And I am here to blow your mind and open your mind to a whole new journey called the heroine's journey. It is similar in some ways to the hero's journey, but it is drastically different in very, very important ways. And guess what? We're women. We're not men. That's why it's different. And maybe there are elements to the hero's journey that you haven't related to, and it is because you are a woman. The journey for a man is the hero's journey. The journey for a woman is the heroine's journey. journey because being a woman is different. I am going to borrow and shout from the rooftops from Sherry Dew herself. In her book, Women and the Priesthood, she has the most incredible introduction as to what is different between men and women's journey, specifically as members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and what it could possibly mean. Why is it that way? Here's what she says. This is on page 6 of her book, Women in the Priesthood, published by Deseret Book. I love being a woman and feel there are tremendous advantages to being female. But womanhood is not uncomplicated. A woman's life is filled with ambiguity. The path for a man in the church is somewhat laid out for him. At 12, he'll be ordained a deacon in the Aaronic priesthood. At 14, a teacher. And at 16, a priest. Then other expectations follow in short order. He will be ordained an elder in the Melchizedek priesthood, go to the temple, enter the mission field, come home and pursue an education, find a wife and get married, earn a living, and so on. I am not suggesting that this defined path doesn't create its own stiff challenges, because it does. Our expectations, not to mention the Lord's, of believing committed men are high and unrelenting. A woman's journey, however, has its own distinctive complexities. Among other things, it can be difficult to know what to prepare for. Does that sound familiar to you? Listen to this. A young woman may serve a mission if she desires, but there is no requirement to do so. She is encouraged to get as much education as she can, but she may or may not end up using that education in some kind of professional vocation or career. And some young adult age women express concern that if they pursue an education or career, they may be sending unintended signals to the Lord that they care more about a profession than about getting married. A woman should develop her talents, but how she will use them may not be clear. She may or may not marry at a traditional age. If she does marry in a normal time frame, she will likely desire to be a mother, but she may or may not be able to bear or raise children. She may or may not choose to work outside the home, but in all likelihood, that decision will be charged with a variety of emotions. In short, a woman tends to have more flexibility than a man. But at the same time, that flexibility introduces ambiguity and uncertainty. This disturbs some women, but perhaps our Father allowed this fundamental circumstance to exist to encourage women to learn to discern and follow His will. I believe that it is a reflection of His confidence in our ability to do so. Close quote. Okay. Game changer. It is a game changer. Your journey as a female member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, your journey is different. It is different. And is it possible that our journey, our heroine's journey, is meant to be different so that we can further rely on His will and in our trust, in our intuition and connection to the divine? I think it's a game changer. I absolutely do. And that is what this entire podcast is going to be about right now, is helping you see what the heroine's journey is. Okay. We are going to be diving deep over months and months and months of this podcast. So hang with me. Today's podcast is to give you an overview. Okay. It is essential that you understand the overview of the heroine's journey to see where it may differ from the hero's journey, but most importantly, so you can see where you are. Where are you? What can you expect as you learn to fulfill your life's purpose, to fulfill your divine mission, to fulfill what God has called you to do? Where are you in that journey, and what does it mean for you? And how is it mirrored in film? How is it mirrored in the scriptures? Let's dive in. There are 9 different stages of the heroine's journey, and we are going to tackle all 9 today in very, very short detail. Oh man, it's going to be like 9 teasers for you, but hang tight. Deep dive episodes are coming their way here on the podcast that you can tune in the coming weeks to learn more about each stage and what it means. And I tell you, it is over and over in the scriptures. It is over and over in Disney and Pixar and Star Wars even, but let's dive in. Okay. Now I want you to recognize 3 different stories that you can think about as we go through each of these sections. So you can think of Mulan, you can think of Moana, and you can think of Rey from Star Wars. I'm fascinated by Rey from Star Wars because the same creators, I mean, Lucasfilm, right? He creates this incredible character of Luke Skywalker, and he walks through the hero's journey more specifically than any other hero in film history, right? He is to the T following the hero's journey. Then Lucasfilm and Disney partner up and they create the story behind Rey, and she is a female, and her story follows the heroine's journey. Her story is not the hero's journey. And I love that. I love that her journey is different because she's a woman, and it causes her to rely on different things and experience different things to help her to fulfill her divine calling, right? It's incredible. So I want you to be thinking about those three stories. I'm specifically going to talk about the world of Moana because it is a favorite in our household. And I'm going to be connecting these 9 different stages to her specifically so that you can see those moments in the film. Okay. 9 stages. Here we go. You are a woman. Your path is different. Welcome to the heroine's journey. Stage number 1 in the heroine's journey is the spark. As members of the church, this is a prompting. You feel called. There is something deep within you that says you are meant to do this. You are being called to do this. Wouldn't it be neat if you did this? It is something that may nag at you a little bit. It's something you feel inspired to do. You can't explain it necessarily. Moana, in the film Moana, she's constantly singing about it when she talks about how the water calls to her. Remember, it calls me. She says that throughout the entire film, that she feels directly connected to the ocean for some reason. Okay. For some reason, she later feels a spark to that perhaps she is the one to find Maui. Maybe she is the one to do that. That's a specific spark, a specific destination that she thinks that she can accomplish. She has this spark. Now, often early on in the heroine's journey, she hides it. It is a hidden spark. You know, Moana spends her entire young life trying to suppress her desire to be on the ocean. Okay. And that leads us to the second stage in the heroine's journey. And this is often the most diverse stage compared to the hero. Okay. And here's why. The second stage in the heroine's journey is the heroine. Okay. Defining who she is, the actual heroine defining who she is. And it is an absolute identity battle. She rarely, if ever, will get started on her journey if she doesn't win this battle with her identity. Okay. She resists that spark that she felt, that spark to go into the ocean, your spark to start a business, your spark to do XYZ. We resist it as women because we feel that our desires fight against our identity. And we will deep dive into this big time. We don't feel like our spark or what we've been called to do or what we feel inspired to do, we feel like it actually fights against who we are meant to be. And we battle with that. It's an intense battle. And so Moana, she battles with going on the ocean because she has been told no one goes beyond the reef. And so she buries it and she waits and she waits and she waits because going out on the ocean fights against what she thinks her identity should be. Are you recognizing this? Let me give you a couple of hints. Is it okay if women are people who are assertive or moneymakers, or they speak up, or they're professional, or they're driven? We are going to dive into really what the framework is for determining what your identity is and how you fight this battle in a way with God by your side in later episodes as we deep dive. But just know that this moment of her battling her identity is the stopping point for the heroine. If she doesn't determine who she is, she will never go on the journey. Okay. It's a critical moment. Okay. This moves us into step 3. And I want you to envision something for me. I want you to envision that you are on a path of some kind. Okay. You are on a path. Trees are on both sides of you. You're walking down this straight path, literally straight. You are walking down it. And all of a sudden you come to a Y in the road. And I specifically say Y. Okay. There's a Y in the road. There is a path to the right. And when you look to the right on the Y, you see a large gate. And you can see through the gate. Okay. And when you look through the gate, what you see is a mountain. There is a mountain to climb beyond that gate. It is an unknown mountain. There are no markings on what the trail looks like. There are no markings on how hard the trail is. You just can see through the gate that there is something to climb there. Okay. There is something to climb. And on the left is just a continuation of the flat path that you have been taking up to this point. Okay. This is the moment where the heroine faces the decision. She faces the why. And I love to joke that Satan dwells at the why. Satan dwells at the why. And I love to say that because it's dang funny because people think I'm talking about BYU. I'm a huge BYU fan and I am a graduate of BYU, but Satan dwells in this moment, and he will whisper to you that the road to the left is easier and the road to the left is more comfortable. But the heroine, in order to fulfill her mission, has to turn right. But Satan will pressure her in intense, intense ways. And again, we will deep dive into this later. I can't wait. I just want to give it all right now. But she chooses to take the path through the gate. She makes the decision. She herself physically opens that gate and walks through it and takes a step into what she felt sparked to do. So this is Moana when her grandmother is passing away. She knows that Maui needs to be found because the island is suffering. This is the moment where she sings the big, big climactic song where she is going to fulfill that spark, and she jumps into the ocean on the boat and she is headed on her journey. It is her decision. It is her decision to open the gate, get in the water, and go. That is the moment of the gate, and it is the third stage in the heroine's journey. Pretty amazing, right? Pretty amazing. Okay. Now, the fourth stage, this is a unique stage specific to the heroine's journey. Again, the fourth stage is there is always a gathering. Okay. This is when the woman looks for allies in her journey. She wants to surround herself with people who support her, people who are like her, people who believe in her. And that gathering is important to the heroine. Okay. Moana is very much alone, physically alone, as she is out there on the ocean. But one of the big, beautiful moments, the minute that she gets on that raft, is that her grandmother passes away and comes back in a spirit form as a stingray, right? And you see this beautiful blue stingray that is encouraging her on, and it gives her additional courage to keep going. Okay. Now, let me point out a very distinct difference. The hero's journey has a guide. A hero seeks out a guide first, where a heroine seeks out allies. Fascinating, right? Fascinating. Okay. So Moana finds an ally in her grandmother. She also seeks for an ally in Maui. Okay. When she eventually meets him, which is a little bit later in her journey. So there is always a gathering, which is stage 4. Okay. Stage 5 is the actual battle. This is the heroine's battle. This, for you as an entrepreneur, is when you actually start pursuing the thing. Like, you are building the business. You are in the gritty part. You are building the thing. You are building that thing that you felt sparked to do. Okay. The interesting part about the battle stage of the heroine's journey is that the heroine feels that she is at a natural disadvantage, and she can point out those things really, really quickly. She thinks that there are a lot of external factors that are not supporting her and not helping her in finding Maui, right? In finding that initial spark of what she's supposed to do. So Moana's battle is, I can't sail. I don't know how to sail. This was dumb. Why did I go and do this when I didn't know how to sail? I know that my father is mad at me at home, right? I am alone. These kinds of experiences where there are a lot of external factors that she can sort of blame. She can blame and say, well, I'll never get there because I don't know how to sail, and that's not my fault. Or my dad doesn't support me and I wish he would support me. You will find, and we'll dive into this deeper. Oh my gosh, I keep saying that. We will dive deeper into the fact that the battle with the heroine is internal and external. The heroine believes that if she can solve all the external problems, that she will reach what she's supposed to reach, where really the depth comes in her battling the internal. It is her battling what what she is stopping for herself. Okay. And that goes into some really deep territory that I'm excited to explore with you. Stage 5 is the battle. And this happens when she is on that journey. Okay. Now we are on the 6th stage of her battle. And this is a fascinating one because, man, this may resonate with you as a woman and as a faithful woman. The 6th stage in the heroine's journey is the illusion of success. I like to refer to this as the first win. That first win when you're like, oh my word, this is going to work. This is going to work. I've made my first sale. I've actually built something incredible here. Or I've hit my first 1,000 followers, or whatever you felt originally called to do, you accomplish it. Okay. You accomplish it. I'm going to start a business. Wow. I started a business and I got my first sale. Boom. I'm at that win. Okay. This is the moment when Moana finds Maui. She originally felt sparked to be in the ocean to save her people. And the key to that is Maui. And she found Maui. Now, if the film ended when she found Maui, the film would be really, really short and it would miss a lot of the depth that comes to Moana. Because of the journey that is ahead for her. But this is when she thinks she's made it. Oh my gosh, I found Maui. He's going to go rescue the heart. This is all great. Okay. Here is why it's called the illusion of success. And that is the fact that we feel this win, but there is a sense of the journey not being over. It's like a psych moment. It's like, I found Maui. Oh, Maui doesn't have his hook. Oh, he doesn't even want to go. What? It's this moment of like, wait, why did I do this? This is not meant to happen. I think I got it wrong. Like, why did I even do this? I'm going to give up. Okay. Here's the reality. This is part of the journey. This will happen. Okay. Sometimes this exhibits in feeling unfulfilled, even after you've accomplished the thing that you thought you were sent to accomplish. It's because the journey is longer than you thought. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the party. And this moment is also absolutely specific to the heroine's journey. It's crazy. It is so crazy cool. Okay. And this is the moment we think it's wrong. The reality is she's actually not in the wrong place. She's about to expand, and it's actually how you get to where you really were supposed to go in the first place. And you just didn't know it. It's kind of the psych moment. Okay. So that is stage number 6. Now, stages 7, 8, and 9 are predictable in every form of the hero's journey as well as the heroine's journey. Okay. And they are these. Stage number 7 is the enemy. In the heroine's journey, the enemy typically results in some form of abandonment. Someone she trusted abandons her. Someone who believed in her passes away. It is a form of abandonment. She's alone. This is when Maui exits and she feels like she has to actually return the heart and face the demon herself. And she battles her own identity. It looks impossible. Doom is imminent. All of those things are phrases that come to her mind when she is facing the enemy. That big moment where she is facing the demon. She is alone from Maui. She has to do it all on her own. And she's just come out of a place where she's unfulfilled from realizing that the journey is much more than she thought she could ever handle. And this is the moment of the enemy. Okay. And again, it always comes in a form of abandonment in the heroine's journey. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. Okay. So that is the 7th stage. Now, luckily, the 8th stage is predictable for both the hero and the heroine's journey. And I think that's really important because the 8th stage is the divine. Okay. The divine always delivers for the hero and the heroine. Man, wouldn't you want that to be the constant? I would want that to be the constant, that the divine will always show up. Yes. Yes, that's what I want. I love that. I love that is a constant between the two because the Lord delivers his people, men and women. He is the deliverer. So the divine shows up. There are multiple moments of this in Moana. She feels loved and supported by her ancestors when she finds out who they really are. Maui returns himself. She is also given incredible insight into who the demon is, Taika, who that demon really is, that demon is actually the thing that she's going to use to save her people, that demon is actually not the demon she thought he was. And it's just this incredible moment that the divine gives us sight. He gives us help from the other side. He also gives us help here on earth to accomplish the greater journey ahead. The divine is the constant in the hero's journey and the heroines. It's amazing. And then we come to the last stage in the heroine's journey, and this is what we call the Advent. The Advent is a renewal. It is a return. It is an excitement, a renewed excitement about her identity, about who she is, about what is possible, and the incredible help that she's received from those on earth, from those across the veil, and from her heavenly parents themselves. It all comes together in the moment of the Advent, and it's an incredible time of reflection. I love specifically in the heroines' journeys that the moment of Advent is the moment where they often return back to those who they love most, even though they've done extraordinary things. I think of Mulan, when she's bowing before the emperor, her Advent is actually that she wants to return to her family instead of accepting the new position with the emperor, right? She decides to return to her family. That's the same thing with Moana. When all this happens, what she wants most is to be back with her family and fulfill that role as the leader of the island. That return, it's incredible. It's incredible. That is the heroine's journey. That is the heroine's journey. You can find all of these specific things in the show notes below, but let me just review all 9. Number 1, the spark. Stage 2, the heroine. Number 3, the gate. Stage 4, the gathering. Stage 5, the battle. Stage 6, the illusion of success. Stage 7, the enemy. Stage 8, the constant, the divine. And stage 9, the Advent. It is a different journey, my friend. And I'm so excited to dive into this in full depth this year here on the Latter-day Ladypreneur podcast. I want you to realize that the battles you fight as a woman, as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and as an entrepreneur, they are meant to be battles for you. They are meant to be that way. So let's deep dive together over the next year to find what that means for you. What tools, what things can we do to get us through the challenges that face us specifically as women? I hope this has blown your mind. We are just on the surface, and I'm glad you're here. Okay. I'm glad you're here. Let me give you one last thing to move on. Okay. This podcast will only grow if you share it. It will only grow if you share it. If this resonates with you, share it. That's how this message will get out, that our journey is meant to be different. We're not going to fight the fact that it's different. We're not going to throw men under the bus because it's different. We are going to embrace the fact that our heroine's journey is different and allow ourselves to not fight it, but rather to embrace it and expand because of it. All right. As part of that journey, you as an entrepreneur are trying to use the tools in order to get your message out, your business out, your story out, all of those things. And I know that part of that is social media, my friend. Is that part of the heroine's journey? Heck yes, it is part of your gathering. And I know that social media is stressful. Part of your heroine's journey, especially as an entrepreneur, is to include these incredible divine resources to be able to get your message and your journey out there. I get it. And I also get that social media is stressful because you feel behind, you can't be consistent, you're losing opportunities, you feel like you're wasting time. And go figure, when you get on social media to do something awesome, you yourself, you fall victim to comparison and you get that there's something that you need to do, but then you just get to compare and it's a bad, bad place to be. Okay. So if my solution to this is a stress-free and strategy-rich use of all things social media, if you want to dive into that solution of how you can make the social media part of your entrepreneurship journey and your heroine's journey a really peaceful, purposeful place to be, I've got a solution for you. I want you to head over to sarahgracelive.com/no stress. No spaces, okay? SarahGraceLife.com/no stress. It's going to give you some framework so that you can actually have a plan to make social media serve its right purpose. Okay, we are changing things up here on the Latter-day Ladypreneur podcast. This is day 1 of that. I'm so glad you're here. If it resonated with you, I want you to share it with a friend. If you're ready to cut the stress out of social media, SarahGraceLife.com/no stress. There are no spaces in that. And I will catch you in a couple of weeks as we deep dive into this sacred experience of exploring the heroine's journey. Your journey is different. It is divinely designed that way, and I'm excited to explore it with you. Let's go. We'll see you on the other side. Latter-day Ladypreneur is brought to you by Sarah Grace Live, audio work done by Rachel Johnston. Huge thanks to the Sarah Grace Live team for pursuing our dream of Esther 4:14. Perhaps you were born for such a time as this. Playing big in business is an incredible road to you becoming who God created you to be. Find coaching, classes, community, and my key strategies to playing big in the show notes and at SarahGraceLive.com. Thanks for listening.